Hello, my loves. Welcome to the Spicy Stories Club channel. Follow this spicy and surprising story now.
This is my first story. I hope you enjoy it. My name is Emily. I am 36 years old, married and the mother of 2 children. I led a very ordinary life, and in 18 years of marriage I had never even considered leaving my husband. I never imagined myself with anyone else. I got married young and my husband, until then, had been the only one to touch me and please me. However, life is full of surprises, and a sequence of small elements led to this insanity that I am going to tell. It was a typical Monday morning, the kind that begins without great expectations, but ends up marked by small stories that stay in your memory. The year was 1996, and the fashion of the time featured long dresses, made of an extremely light, almost ethereal fabric that molded to the body of the person wearing it. My older sister, always in tune with the trends, had bought one of these. However, her husband did not approve of the choice. He said that the dress was worthless, that it was a disposable item. She was visibly shaken by the comment and, not knowing what to do, called me to vent. Her voice carried a tone of frustration and disappointment. In the middle of the conversation, she asked if I would like to keep the dress, since she would no longer wear it. Without thinking much, I said yes. I agreed that I would stop by her house later, taking advantage of a ride with my husband to work, since she lived nearby. And so I did. I got out of the car and walked to my sister's house, being greeted with that tight hug of someone who had not seen her for a long time. We talked for a long time, catching up, laughing about old memories and sharing the latest news. When I finally saw the dress, I thought it was gorgeous. The color was discreet, soft, exactly the way I liked it. But it was true that it was tight to the body, highlighting every curve quite clearly. Curious, I decided to try it on right there. On me, the fit was different, looser, more fluid. However, there was a small detail that I hadn't anticipated. I was wearing a red piece underneath, and the fabric of the dress was so light that everything was showing through. I smiled to myself when I noticed this, but it wasn't a problem. After all, I didn't intend to wear it at that moment. Carefully folding the dress, I put it in a bag and got ready to leave. I put on my jeans, exchanged a few more words with my sister, and with a loving hug I said goodbye, taking with me not only the dress, but also the memory of a meeting that had been long overdue. But when I went to hug her, my nephew came over distracted and bumped into me, spilling coffee on my pants, getting me all dirty. Wow, I was completely soaked in coffee. What now? My sister then suggested that I go home with the dress and leave the pants for her to wash. No, sister, there's no way I'm going to wear the dress and take my pants. Just imagine, accidents happen. When I get home I'll wash them. So I went back to my room and put on the dress. But I never liked to draw attention to myself, and that piece of thread showing through the dress was bothering me. So I decided to take it off. After all, the bus ride home was short, about 25 or 30 minutes at most. No one would notice, because at that time the bus going to the neighborhood is almost empty. Well then, I said goodbye to my sister, grabbed my bag with my pants and the rest of my belongings, and left wearing the dress towards the bus stop. The bus came quickly and, as I had imagined, was almost empty. There was even a small seat. But to my surprise, the unfortunate bus broke down, and we all had to get off to change to the bus behind us, which, by the way, took a long time and was already full. I was irritated, but I had my obligations and had to get on that crowded bus anyway. That was when everything started to change in my life. Even though I loved my husband, I must confess that I was a little needy. After all, we had been married for years, and he had forgotten me. He almost always left me aside. He never looked for me, even though he made it clear that he wanted to. I was always burning with passion, always feeling a flame inside me that wanted to be extinguished. And that day, I don't know if it was because I felt so exposed and unprotected in that dress, automatically becoming more sensitive to any touch, and on that crowded bus, people were passing by and bumping into me. I started to feel hot, with butterflies in my stomach, with my candies firm and lit. I controlled myself and stood there next to the ticket collector. In a few seconds, a lady offered to hold my bag. I thanked her and gave it to her to hold, and I stood there. A little longer, and more people got on. Wow, now it really was super crowded. I started to squeeze in so that more people would fit in the same space. And when the bus got back on its route, someone behind me allowed himself to do so in a way that left me in shock. At first, I thought he was trying to get past and nudged me in an attempt to get my attention so that I would make the effort to move away. But nothing of the sort. He stayed there so that he wouldn't take it from me. I glanced back and saw that it was a tall, even handsome man, wearing dress pants and a white shirt. I think he was a doorman or a security guard, something like that. There was a company name on his shirt. I realized he wasn't being mean, because he tried to dodge me. But the bus was really crowded. I stood there quietly, but judging by the way the bus swayed and the light fabric, I could feel it. And the worst part, I started to blush, because I was starting to like it. Gosh, I didn't know what was bigger, my feeling of embarrassment or my intention. I let it happen, after all. There wasn't much I could do. But he realized that I was turning a blind eye and started trying harder. He made a movement with his hand in his pocket, adjusted it so that it was more ready, straighter, and using his own intention, he started to get in there. It was almost as if I wasn't wearing anything for him. It was a very obvious invitation. Even if I denied it, he would understand that I didn't do anything to avoid it. I really started to get very anxious and restless. That made me very weak and sweaty. My legs started to shake because of the danger. I couldn't stop my femininity from becoming a waterfall. I stood there with a blank expression, doing everything I could to not embarrass him and to always keep him brave, in addition to leaving everything in perfect harmony so that no hero would want to defend me. I stayed very still. For the first time in my life, I let it all flow without needing to be touched. The bus started to empty, and he disappeared somehow. I was relieved. When I got close to the final stop, I grabbed my bag and got off. I noticed that a lot of people were looking at me on the walk home. But when I got home, I discovered why there were so many looks. My new dress, and now a faithful companion on crowded buses and subways, was all full of adrenaline in the back. But what can you do? It's part of it. After that, I became a devotee. Always doing it. Did you like this story? So, leave a comment telling us what you thought, and, if you've experienced something similar, share it with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any new content. Here, we always bring life stories, reflections and real experiences, all with great sincerity. Thank you for watching until the end and for being part of this journey. See you in the next video.